If I say the words Colosseum, Gladiator, and Caesar to you, most likely your mind will go to the ancient city of Rome. But did you know they're also the names of models of yachts built by a yacht builder also based in the Eternal City? Canados, or Cantiere di Ostia, is located, as the name suggests, in Ostia, which is a seaside neighbourhood of the city of Rome. Now, I am going to tell you about the yachts that they produce, but before I do that, I had to tell you something interesting I learned during the research stage of this vlog, because Ostia Antica, which is where the original settlement was in the days of the Roman Empire, is actually located further inland because the coast of Italy has changed considerably over the centuries. It was one of the first settlements that the old city of Rome ever formed, and it was an important trade port, so they were getting attacked every 5 minutes from one nation or another, and they even got ravaged by pirates, so that the Roman emperor asked Pompey to come to their assistance, and Pompey wiped the pirates out, after which things didn't go quite so well for them. Anyway, all of that, especially for people who leave comments on my channel saying,
"You talk too much, stop talking all the time, we just want to see pictures of yachts, not hear you yapping on and on like you like to hear the sound of your own voice, and anyway you look like Vladimir Putin."
So with that said, let me tell you about Canados Yachts. As well as being the name of the builder, Canados is also the name of their more traditional line of Flybridge yachts that they produce, that span from the 808 Maximus all the way to the 120 Caesar. The model I'd like to focus on though is a new model called the 969 Colisseum, that at the moment I could only find renderings of, although it looks very much like it's fully developed, engineered and ready to go. The yacht was designed by Rome-based designer Marco Casali, who, apart from being a thoroughly nice guy, is also a very well-established figure on the Italian yachting scene. But just look at some of the really unusual features on this model, starting with the bow. Now, the master stateroom of this yacht is located forward on the main deck, but they've designed it so that the owner can step directly from his cabin onto the bow, where they can enjoy a selection of bow layouts, including with or without a jacuzzi tub, and with or without extra sunbathing areas. I've not seen that on a production yacht of this size before. It's a clever idea, and I think it will lead to good sales figures for them. The other really unusual feature on this yacht is that they have split the aft garage area in two, so that the yacht has a nice wide central stairway from the swim platform to the aft deck. The swim platform, by the way, can lower down into the sea, and Canados make the point that by splitting the aft garage in two, you can access the swim platform even when the garage doors are open. The garage itself, also often referred to as a lazarette, can stow a tender in one side and jet skis and toys in the other. I really want to see this yacht finished so that I can see how that will all work and what sized tender will fit. The next line of yachts from Canados is of a more expedition styling and is called the Oceanic. This range runs from the Oceanic 76 GT all the way through to the Oceanic 140 Fast Expedition. The model that I want to focus on here though is the smallest in the range, that 76 GT. You think of a car with GT in the name and you expect good performance and also a high degree of comfort. And Canados have not just slapped GT on the name of the yacht without good reason. The whole design of this yacht has been really well thought out, and this model actually has what's called a stepped hull, something that is highly unusual for an expedition style yacht. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if this is the first time it's ever been done. To explain what a stepped hull is, I've taken this image right from a wonderful website called the saltwatersportsman.com, and I've also linked in the description to an article on their site explaining how a stepped hull works. Suffice to say, that as the yacht increases in speed and the bow lifts, as one step of the hull rises above the waterline, it significantly reduces the surface area of the hull that's in contact with the water, which is great for performance. Now, stepped hulls don't significantly impact the interior volume of the yacht, so actually a yacht like the Oceanic 76 GT can still have great interiors, although the feature that they're especially proud of is the amount of deck space that she offers. The website in fact says that she's the only yacht of her size with a 30 square metre, that's 328 square feet, aft deck. And certainly looking at the photographs, it has to be said that that is one amazing aft deck for a 76-foot long yacht. And from the Oceanic range to the Gladiator range of yachts by Canados, once again designed by my friend Marco Casali. There's quite a jump in this range from the smallest one, which is called the Gladiator 428 and is 42 feet long, right up to an 82-foot model called the 822 and an even larger 90-foot model called the 901. Let's take a look at the mid-ranged 822 model for a moment though. This is a crowded section of the market with some really strong brands dominating the open performance yacht sector, so Canados needed to produce something pretty special to compete, and the 822 really is something pretty special. Beauty, as always, is in the eye of the beholder, but I personally find the lines of this yacht to be exceptionally beautiful, really graceful, and yet somehow aggressive at the same time. This might not be enough on its own to differentiate her from the competition though, so you may be interested to hear that she has various engine options, one of which will propel her to a head spinning speed of 60 knots. That really is quite something, and to accomplish that, the yacht would be built from carbon fibre Kevlar composite to reduce weight, and then kitted out with 3 1,900 horsepower engines and top drive surface propulsion. Now, I already got a little technical earlier explaining what a stepped hull is, so for those of you who don't know what surface drives are, I'll explain that in a future video. Here is another feature though that differentiates the Gladiator 822 from other yachts in her category. If you look carefully at the bow, you'll see a seating area with a central division that seems to lead right into the windscreen. Well, that is because the windscreen is actually divided into 3 parts so that the middle section can open and the owner and his guests can pass straight from the interior of the yacht and out onto the bow. It's such a great idea, and I can see people at boat shows looking at similar yachts from competitors and saying, yes, but does the front windscreen open? It's a feature that's going to give a real competitive edge to Canados. And speaking of boat shows, the Cannes Boat Show, otherwise known as the Cannes Yachting Festival, is nearly upon us, running as it does from the 10th to the 15th of September, and Canados will be there with as many yachts in their fleet as they can muster. Now, if you are going to be at that show, or any other show for that matter, remember that this is an opportunity to speak to the manufacturers about yachts that maybe they have designs of but haven't built yet. Be aware though that no matter how wealthy you are, very often it's difficult to get on board the yachts or to speak to company executives unless either you're being introduced by somebody or you're prepared to be pretty transparent about your qualifications. Now, that's not because of some sort of snobbery, although goodness knows there is a lot of snobbery sometimes in the yachting industry, but rather it's for practical reasons. If a yacht builder brings a product worth millions of dollars to a boat show, they have a duty of care for that asset. Now, you wouldn't believe some of the stories I could tell you about things that seemingly normal people have done on a yacht during a boat show. So exhibitors, of course, want to know a little bit more about you before they let you on board the yacht. In my experience, it's the people who aren't quite as wealthy as they'd have you believe who get offended when questions are asked. The really wealthy people are quite used to having to qualify themselves when transactions of a certain size are discussed. Of course, being seen drinking coffee from a Yachts for Sale mug is always a good indication of your economic and social standing. And talking of the mug, I'll soon be changing almost all of the merchandise that's on the shelf below this video. So if you liked the idea of having one of those unique yacht posters that I have, they'll only be available for a little while longer. Whereas, like it or not, this channel is going to be around for a lot longer. So if you do like it, subscribe.